excited and pleased to have the renowned Mike Bottom, arguably the greatest sprint coach ever in the history of swimming, who spent a couple of weeks here and now is kind of his home away from home is the Florida Keys. Mike, nice to have you back.
It's good to be here. This is home. What do you mean it's home away from home? This is home. I remember home cooked meals right there. Right up there on that balcony.
We had a few up there. This is a great place to call home. Can't wait till you retire and you actually live here year-round, which would be nice to
Just
get
as long as you cook one meal a week of your coconut grouper, cream grouper. What was that? Was that?
That's my specialty.
That was unbelievable.
I can't cook anything but fish, but I know how to cook grouper. Of course, it's hard to ruin good grouper.
You cooked it. It wasn't like you cooked it for a few people. There was, 20, 30 of us every time you cooked up a meal like that?
Well, that's because you shot such a big group.
Yeah, you see that. I said, I hope you still have that picture of me, the grouper that I shot on the website.
Actually, it was a parrotfish, but we tease them. We tell them it was a grouper.
We had to dress it up and look a little differently.
I'll never forget the look on your face when you showed me this. I finally got a grouper, and you held it up like that. Mike, that's a parrotfish.
You're not supposed to tell that story, Gary. That's illegal.
Well, we got away with it, so. Well, let's talk about swimming for a minute. Mike, we go back a long ways, and you coached Gary Jr. in 3 Olympics, almost 4. And a lot has changed in those times. You were coaching a time when we first met at Auburn, and then eventually at USC and at Cal. And then you started coaching more post-grads, and then we were fortunate to have you coach the race club for many years in the pre-Olympic years. But let's talk about how swimming has changed in those years in your perspective, and the difference between, say, coaching the post-grad and coaching at undergrad level at University of Michigan.
I think probably one of the reasons swimming's changed, Gary, is some of the things that we've done over the years, right? I mean, in '95 we called it the world team at that point. And I think that 95, 96, 97, those are the first years that anybody really focused on fast swimming in the long course level. And I think the things that we did during those times, and I think there's still a video, I don't know if you guys still put that out, but swimming fast and having fun.
Yeah.
I mean, if you were to look back at that video, the things that we were doing back then are the things that people are doing now, right? So I think that we had a big hand in changing swimming in a way that's created fast swimming in a long course pool.
Well, you very humbly say we, but it was really you, Mike, that were the innovator of so many of the techniques that I think have become commonplace today. You know, when you came and coached the race club, you had 10 or 15 or so guys, post-grads. They were all focused on sprinting, 50, 100. Occasionally we got, up to the 200. But now you've got a different environment. You've got 30 plus, undergraduates swimming the 1500 down to the 50. And it takes a different skill of coaching. How do you handle that?
A lot of times I go back to my roots, I'm sure you remember when Doc was coaching you do these little aerobic sets, and you would do, there was things that I would do that I wouldn't understand back then, right? And now I get guys who, that's their bread and butter, right? It's not the 50 and the 100 that's the bread and butter, it's the 500 and the mile, or the 200 and the 500. And so the things that we did when we were younger, which is some pretty hard, tough sets, we would, they call them threshold sets now, but it was just fast, hard swimming for a long period of time. Right. And I think that's part of where I've gone. Is I remember George Haynes, I remember watching Sherm Chavor, I remember talking to Doc Councilman before he passed. Some of the old great coaches, I think that their ideas, in my mind, have come to life as I get to coach some of these guys that swim longer.
Well, it's funny, you mentioned those great coaches who were innovative in their own right, but you can always relearn from coaches like that. You can go back, and one of the things it seems you have to be as a college coach with so much diverse talent and diverse events rather than being focused on just sprinting is you've got to be kind of a jack of all trades and be able to coach a lot of different ways, not just one way.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's the fun part about it. And that's why I'm excited about being at Michigan, is because I am learning. If I don't learn, then I'm going to get beat, right? And I don't like, as you know, I don't like getting beat.
Well, on an elite level, you just came from the World Championships, and you saw where the world stands, kind of midway between Olympics. Let's talk about London from the United States swimming standpoint. I mean, how do you feel we are where we are now? And both, I know you coach men, but looking at both the men and women's side, how do you think we're preparing ourselves for London?
I think every year about this time, you have the naysayers that look at our team and say, "Wow, we better get going if we're going to do what we've done in the past." And then, then it comes along, the Olympics come along, and all of a sudden we have these guys that come up and gals that come up and swim fast, and we pat ourselves on the back for seeing such a great team in the future. And the truth is, we have a great age group program in the United States. We have great coaches at the lower levels, and I'm not talking about good coaches. I'm talking about great age group coaches. And that's the bread and butter of why U.S. swimming is great at the top.
Well, I sure agree with that. I mean, that's really what the wealth of American swimming is, in the club swimming and club coaches. I've had an opportunity to go out and do a couple of race club camps now, away from Isla Morada. We've taken our camp to Buffalo, New York, and Lima, Ohio, and Boston. And it's just the one thing that gives you hope and faith in our system is when you see the coaches and the fact that they really want to learn, and they want to, from people like you, they want to succeed. But there's a plenitude of talent out there that it's nice to see, from kids that are 5 or 6 or 7 on up. You just see that America is filled with an amazing talent pool from which we draw every year.
And I think it goes in the same side. The talent pool of coaches is very wide. And having coached internationally, it's a different type of environment. When coaches get together here, they're competitive, but it's a cooperative competition. Cooperation is what we call it at Michigan, and it's where you're cooperating and sharing ideas, and yeah, you're competitive because everybody wants to have the next fast swimmer. And whereas not like that in other countries, absolutely not. They run each other down, they cut their legs out from under another coach. Here, the cooperation between coaches is really amazing.